Hey guys, this is a quick video to introduce you to Who's Talking 2.0, an app for Overwolf, TeamSpeak and Guild Wars 2. I'll show you how to install it, what it does in its default configuration, and for those of you who want to go a bit deeper, I'll go over all relevant settings and show you how to customize Who's Talking to fit your needs. Who's Talking is an app for Overwolf. In short, Overwolf is a host application that is able to render its apps into games, which is what we use for Who's Talking. If you already have Overwolf installed on your computer, you can get Who's Talking via the Overwolf App Store. Just open the Overwolf dock with the Overwolf icon in the Windows sys tray. In the App Store, you can safely skip Sign Up and just search for Who's Talking. To install it, just click on the button here and it's already downloading. If you don't have Overwolf installed yet, there's a link in the video description where you can get a version of Overwolf that already has Who's Talking pre-installed. You could click on Launch Now, but you would only have to do that if you installed Who's Talking while GW2 was already running. With the default configuration, Who's Talking automatically starts when you launch Guild Wars 2, which we'll do now. Now that I started Guild Wars 2 and because I also have TeamSpeak running, Who's Talking is already started in the background, but you see no menu pop up, no clutter on your screen. This is intentional because we believe that in its default configuration, Who's Talking should only become noticeable when there's an actual benefit for the user.
User joined your channel.
Oh, who's that?
Hello!
Seen that icon over her head? That was Who's Talking. As you can see, Who's Talking works right out of the box without the need to set up anything. Actually, while I'm talking, my icon is also already shown to other Who's Talking users on my TeamSpeak channel. For the default configuration, that's already everything you need to know. But to get a feeling for what's really going on, let's have a look at the settings. Whenever you start Who's Talking via Overwolf stock like this little menu will pop up. You can drag it around and put it anywhere on your screen where it doesn't bother you. By clicking it, you will be presented with several options how to customize Who's Talking. We believe that Who's Talking is most useful when it's started automatically, but we realize that not everyone wants that to happen. That's why you can turn off this behavior here. Who's Talking will then only start when explicitly launched from the Overwolf dock. Also, if you want this menu to pop up even when the app is started automatically, you can check this option right here. One thing you can customize about Who's Talking's behavior is when your icon is sent to others here in the Send Position menu. By default, your icon is shown while you're talking, but you can also set it to always and never sending your position automatically. Which option you pick here is up to you, but we feel that if you're exploring the world with one or two friends, always sending your position is the best option. In a typical party of 5, only sending your position while talking is a good choice, and in larger zergs, where the screen might get cluttered because of many icons, most players in the group should stay with never and only send their position manually, which I'll get to in a second. For demonstration purposes, I'll put my setting to always for now. Going back one step in the menu, you can also configure a hotkey to ping your position, regardless of the option you just picked. Pressing that hotkey will show your icon for a few seconds. This is particularly useful if you set that other option to never, or if you don't want to keep talking and talking just to keep your icon visible. The appearance of your icon can be configured in the Appearance menu. First of all, we will check the Show Own Icon option to see what's actually going on. This option is turned off by default because, again, it would clutter your screen without providing meaningful information. The only setting in the submenu that affects all icons is the opacity setting. If you feel the icons are a bit too intrusive, make them a bit transparent, like this. But of course, this makes the icons a bit harder to spot, so pick whatever works best for you. Of course, you can also change your own icon. We provide Guild Wars 2's professional icons as well as a generic speaker icon. By default, Who's Talking will simply pick the icon matching the profession you're currently playing. Because we know this list of icons is a bit restrictive, you can also use an icon from your own computer. We recommend this image to have an equal width and height. It should probably be a PNG to support transparency, and it has to be less than 100 kilobytes in size. After you've picked your icon, you can also customize its color. Pretty straightforward. At the moment, icon coloring only works for the built-in icons though, not for custom ones. The last menu with settings is the performance menu, of which the rendering method is probably the most important choice. By default, the rendering method is set to injected, which works in both full screen and windowed full screen mode. I personally prefer the overlaid renderer because it makes Who's Talking run a lot smoother. It does have some downsides though, as it does only work in windowed full screen mode, and if you accidentally click on one of the icons on your screen, it will take the keyboard focus away from the game and you will have to click somewhere in the game window again before you can make any inputs. This accidental clicking actually happens very rarely, and if you know that it can happen, it's easily fixed by just another mouse click. However, if that's a risk you don't want to take, you should stay with the default setting, even though we're also working closely with Overwolf to stop that from happening at all. If you want to limit the performance impact Who's Talking has on your system, you can also limit Who's Talking's FPS. That said, Overwolf applications run as background processes, which usually means that foreground processes like Guild Wars 2 will have a higher priority than Who's Talking. So running Who's Talking on a machine under heavy load will probably not result in worse performance in Guild Wars 2, but it will lead to bad performance in Who's Talking. For a smooth experience, we recommend that your CPU usage running Guild Wars 2 without Who's Talking should probably not exceed 90%. This also brings me to the recommended Guild Wars 2 settings to run with Who's Talking. There isn't really much to talk about. The only thing we'd recommend is that you, depending on your computer, limit Guild Wars 2's FPS to 60 or even 30 frames per second, especially if you only have a 60Hz monitor and don't really benefit from higher FPS. If the setting is set to unlimited, then Guild Wars 2 will always try to utilize all resources it can get, and those might be those few percentage points of CPU usage that are needed by Who's Talking to run smoothly. The very last thing in Who's Talking's menu to talk about is the status field. It will show Who's Talking's current state, and if you're connected, give you some information about the TeamSpeak server you're connected to, the server that is used to exchange your icon, and which user on TeamSpeak established your connection to the group. If something is wrong, meaning Who's Talking isn't working properly, you'll probably notice it in this screen. If the connection was successful, these two fields, the share server address and the channel name, will be equal across all Who's Talking users on your TeamSpeak channel. If something isn't working as expected and you want to submit a bug report, it's best if you provide us with the information in this menu and how it relates to the info shown to other Who's Talking users on your TeamSpeak channel. That's everything there is to know about Who's Talking. We hope you have fun with the app, and we're looking forward to any feedback or suggestions you might have.